Hello, welcome to another edition of Issues with JIDE. Here we talk about actions and inactions of those who shape our political and national landscape and how these impact us positively or otherwise. I'm Ibrahim Shita. Today on the show, Coroner Summons Naira Marley, PrimeBoy over death of Mohbad. And later in the show, Tinubu's certificate saga, Atiku storms Supreme Court, demands President's disqualification. In the course of the program, we'll take your questions, but first subscribe to our YouTube channel and drop your questions in the comment section. It's very important to mention that we can only read comments whose names are clear and are about the issues discussed. And then we've got the maestro himself who is joining us via Zoom, Babajide Kolade-Otitoju. It's good to see you, Bikil.
See you too. How's everything?
It's very fine, nice, and we'd like to also know how you're feeling on your own side, because it's kind of been
your brand new married life. Answer my question.
I didn't get you, BK.
I said, how are you enjoying your new married life?
Definitely, it's beautiful, enjoyable, and you've given me the baptism last edition of the program, so I've been following your advice. Only that I need to add more, fat to my body as well, just like you've said.
Yes, I challenge you to keep on firing on all cylinders.
All right, then I'll take your advice. It's duly noted, Bikil. Our ancestors in this, I won't call it game, in this institution. Let me just put it that way. All right, then, let's get to the brass tacks of today's issues. The Coroner Court sitting in Lagos State has summoned music stars Abdulaziz Fashola, also known as Naira Marley, Samson Balogun, also known as Sam Larry, and Owodunne Ibrahim, known as PrimeBoy, over the death of Ilereluwa Aloba, that's Mohbad. The last hasn't been heard on this developing story, BKO.
Police that they did not file in their preliminary report with him, because the coroner magistrate is mandated by government to carry out extensive investigation independent of police investigation. They are to use all the tools at their disposal to arrive at the true facts behind the death of the talented Mohbad. So, and their report will also provide quality advice for government to ensure that this sort of thing doesn't happen again. So, regardless of the investigation that the police are carrying out, the coroner has the mandate of government to also carry out a thorough investigation that leaves no room for anyone involved in the death of this young man to escape. We've had coroner's inquest in the past. There was a coroner's inquest during the regime of Babajide Kolade-Otitoju on the collapsed synagogue church building, in which more than 80 persons died, most of them from South Africa. So, and the coroner's report was very, very extensive, very detailed. I figure that this is the sort of thing that government expects this coroner to do, and all the stakeholders are represented, the music companies represented, the families of the family of Mohbad is also represented, by Mrs. Fumi Falana, who just recently got decorated with the Senior Advocate of Nigeria title. So the coroner has already summoned, because the coroner has tons of witnesses, tons of people to interrogate on this matter, to explain their own side, explain what happened, and how this guy died. So it has the power to summon anybody, to invite anybody to come and respond to some of what the um, people brought before the coroner had said. So it has fixed October 25 for PrimeBoy, Samilari, and Naira Marley himself to come and face the coroner and explain what they know about this man's death. One thing has been established: bullying, outright cyber bullying, physical bullying, assault has already been established against Sam Larry, against Naira Marley, and PrimeBoy, who had an exchange of blows with Mohbad a couple of days before his death, after his show in the produce, also has to answer questions. I was looking at a video showing Mohbad's swollen leg, on the day he died, and some are already linking it to the fight that he had with his friend PrimeBoy on the day. In fact, one of the bloggers claimed that the moment it became clear that PrimeBoy has to face the police, he deleted pictures of the likes of Naira Marley, the likes of Zinolitsky on his timeline, so as not to have a semblance of any form of relationship between him and Naira Marley, because there are those who are trying to make the point that both the nurse, PrimeBoy, and Mohbad's friend who invited the auxiliary nurse were working together. I have no evidence of this, but I know that the coroner will be able to do a solid job. As we speak, the autopsy is not out. The police has already announced that the autopsy is not out. So, but the coroner has said that the police should bring Mohbad, Naira Marley and others out of their detention facility in Panti and bring them before him on the adjourned date of October 25. Meanwhile, there were some individuals who claimed that Mohbad's son actually belonged to Sam Larry, maybe because Mohbad's son is light skinned. Now the DNA has already disproved this. The DNA has shown clearly that this is a fallacy, and OGB, who is known to be one of the late singer's best friends, has already revealed via his social media handle that the DNA test conducted indeed showed that the late Mohbad was the father of his son, and not Sam Larry. So, for those so-called investigators, emergency journalists going around saying that Sam Larry is the father of Mohbad's son, maybe at this time they will keep their mouth shut. It's so much of pain to the family of the deceased to say such nasty things about his wife, about people connected to him after his death. So, but Mohbad is doing very well. Mohbad songs are doing very well, I can report. We always pray that good things should happen to us when we are alive. he actually sang a song in which he said that perhaps when he's gone, when he's lying on the floor, he will become more famous. That has come to pass. Mohbad spoke, I mean, he didn't speak much, but he reflected his views, his inner thinking was reflected in most of his songs. It's like he knew it would come to this kind of ending, and he kept saying that he was confident that he could be more popular in death. You know, so he said, if you need to praise me, you need to praise me now. You know, not when I'm on lifeless on the floor. And I can say that he is the most streamed artist on YouTube in Nigeria this week. He is also the 46th best-selling digital artist in the world. By current statistics, he is the most streamed, he is the 46th best-selling digital artist in the world. The most streamed artist on YouTube in the trafficking week of September 29 to October 5 is Mohbad, with a cumulative view of 2.3 million views. He logged 2.3 million views between September 29 and October 5 this year, making him the most streamed Nigerian artist and the 46th best-selling digital artist in the world currently. Especially his song Peace. His song Peace rose to the enviable height of being #2 on the Billboard charts, defeating bigger artists, more famous artists like Nicki Minaj, Eminem, and the rest of them. So see how glorious this boy has been in death. And that is the more reason many people want to see a quick resolution of his matter so that he can get the deserved burial that he deserves, rather than the terrible rites of passage that his father and others gave him, in which his neck was even broken in his casket. So this is where we are. At this point, nothing should be ruled out. You will never be able to tell what exactly or who plotted Mohbad's death until the conclusion of the investigation, until the autopsy is out. You never can tell. No one knows, for example, if he was actually injected with poison. The autopsy will show exactly what he was injected in, the exact cause of his death. That is why, until the autopsy is out, we cannot be close to the resolution of his matter. Until all of the people before the coroner are interrogated, put in the dock to answer questions, relevant questions to his death, we will not be able to come up with the real reason it came to such a sad ending, and lessons will not be learned until there is a full closure to this matter. So we are waiting honestly for the coroner to complete its work. We are waiting for the morticians to come up with the autopsy report so that we can know exactly what killed Mohbad.
Interesting. Let me take one or two comments before we take some questions. Fabian Akaise says, I wish the Nigeria police force and the judiciary will be independent in this investigation and not bow to pressure, public pressure. Destroying the music career of Naira Marley does no one any good. Nelson Adufe says, many suspect circumstances surrounds Mohbad's death, ranging from cultism, greed by father, and other obscured traces in reality. Temilola OA says, is Imole's mother-in-law a police officer? If so, we may not get to the root of this case. Leah Haley says, interview the wife, please. She's a suspect too. So there have been a lot of, reactions, a lot of speculations, a lot of allegations here and there. But some people said that the wife is mourning and she should not be bothered at this time, with investigation or questioning and all of that. What do you make of this?
I don't think that she has overreacted. She's not going around granting interviews and all that. And for a young woman to be accused of infidelity on top of the death of her husband is difficult to take. But it's a good thing that the DNA report has absolved her of any form of infidelity. There are some people who are trying to pin on her this and that. That it's Naira Marley that introduced her to Mohbad. That's why even Sam Larry is involved with her. Sam Larry was sleeping with her. Sam Larry was the one who impregnated her. The child does not belong to Mohbad and all that. The DNA result has put paid to all that nonsense. But the truth is, let us be open-minded. When the BBC Yoruba interviewed Mohbad's dad, my attitude to him changed. I thought that some of his actions were downright irresponsible, but he offered explanation. He said, for example, that his son was complaining to him about Naira Marley routinely maltreating him and all that, and that he went to Naira Marley to beg. He said he didn't know that Naira Marley was recording him. Why would Naira Marley do that? The father came to beg, and you were recording him. So the man said that his son was always telling him stories about what he was going through, and that was why he went to see his boss, only for him to be recorded in that way. He never knew it was recorded until the video went viral. The same Naira Marley was also found recording a conversation between him and Mohbad. And the fact that Mohbad was begging him in that conversation does not mean anything. It could well be you are the boss, you have so much power that he doesn't have. So it's already in a weakened position, and there's nothing wrong in begging you. So he was trying to do all of that to make it look like did nothing wrong. But the videos of outright brutality, I personally saw a video in which he was bleeding on the neck in front of Naira Marley's house. And that's why the police said we have evidence of cyberbullying by Naira Marley and Sam Larry, that they have videos of assault by Naira Marley and Sam Larry, that they have a case to answer. No one has the right to bully anyone in the way that they did to this boy. No one. But again, it tells us that there is a lot wrong with the music industry that need to be addressed. Cultism is one big issue. All of these big boys, big artists, they are in one cult or another. We need to know that. We need to discourage cultism in this part of Nigeria, especially the Southwest. We must not be going through kidnapping, banditry like we have in the Northwest. But cultism is a big problem in Southern Nigeria. It's a very, very big problem, and it has to be addressed. Unfortunately, some of the big people who should be helping us to solve the problem, they are also cultists. I don't know what they gain in that. So until we address some of those problems, this kind of issue may still happen again. That is the thing. But let's keep our minds open. I can understand why Nigerians are angry. There's no way they will see videos of Mohbad being assaulted by Naira Marley's people, and you expect that they will be happy with the artist. It's not going to happen. They can't be happy with him. They know that he left in acrimonious circumstances because he was also a songwriter for Naira Marley. Sam Clever has already confirmed that. I mean, Wizkid's producer has already confirmed that Mohbad was writing songs for Naira Marley. So you cannot have such a talent and be happy to see him go. You do all you can to keep him. And some of it really went violent, no doubt about it. And we've seen artists also come out to confirm that they knew was going through all of that. So it's not like Nigerians will be aware of that, all of that, and just keep quiet and put gallants on Naira Marley's neck. They won't do that. Nigerians don't like bullies. Nigerians always support the underdog. So their support, their anger with Naira Marley is understandable because the videos are out there. The videos are out there.
Yeah.
Was being beaten in front of his house.
That's right.
And instead of the policeman around to even help, the policeman was trying to push him out of the area.
That's right.
You know, so this is the problem. But again, let's wait until this whole investigation is over. Let's not rule anything out. Let's not rule anything in.
That's right. Some people are actually disagreeing with you, while some are agreeing with you. Fabian Akaize is disagreeing with you on some points, but because of our time. But Vivian Okuna said, God bless you, this man, for speaking the truth. It all depends. The truth is it all depends on where people lie. It's not really basically for people to agree with, one's position. But because of our time, we'll treat all of those, in our subsequent programming. But President Bola Tinubu has asked the Supreme Court to dismiss the appeal filed by former Vice President Atiku Abubakar and the People's Democratic Party, challenging his victory in the 2023 presidential election, describing it as abusive in nature. Recall that former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has also gone to the Supreme Court, with different claims and all of that. You've been talking about analyzing this issue, over and over again, trying to make people understand, and also calling for calm for people, for the court to be allowed to do his job, to do his what's it called? His obligation in this regard. But how are you reading this development? BK, are you there?
I'm looking at it from both sides and asking myself what could happen. Yes, can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Carry on, we can.
Ibrahim. So I'm looking at it from both sides of the coin. This has always been my style, and it helps me a lot. Once you detach your bias from issues, most of the time you'll be accurate in your prognostication of what will happen. But if you are thoroughly biased, you will always not be accurate. Things will happen to show that you lied. So in this matter, the Supreme Court has been approached by Atiku to allow it to file fresh evidence. It is a tough ask to convince the Supreme Court to allow it to file fresh facts that were not introducing exhibits that were not tendered before the lower courts, which is the appeal court. So he has a mountain to climb in that area. And then this matter is also pre-election matter. So that is another uphill task. Atiku should have brought this matter before now. He should have brought it before the Court of Appeal. But even if he brought it, it is not a guarantee that the judges will rule in his favor. It's no guarantee. If you look at what's been happening, a lot of our, even around a lot of the governorship cases, you know, people have accused the winners of forgery and all that, but it's always tough for them to prove. Now, Atiku's lawyers and their supporters have been saying that the court should accept the deposition by the registrar of the Chicago State University, the 5-hour deposition, in which the registrar actually confirmed that Tinubu graduated in 1979. He confirmed Tinubu's identity by saying that the person who graduated from their school in 1979 is male, is Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who is today the president of Nigeria. Now, what Atiku's lawyers are holding on to in accusing Tinubu of forgery is the fact that the registrar of CSU prevaricated. He refused to deny or confirm that the certificate Tinubu submitted to INEC was fake or authentic. Look, listen to what he said, which is subject to interpretations. We were not qualified to verify whether this document is authentic, given that it is not in our possession. That's what he said. They had given Tinubu, they had released, they did not have, they no longer have Tinubu's certificate in their custody. He affirmed that by tradition, they do not even keep those diplomas. The Americans call these certificates diplomas. That they do not keep those diplomas. They do not keep duplicate copies of diplomas for students. I don't think there is any university that actually even does. Today, if I go to my university to say they should give me another certificate, they will have to generate another one. No university keeps duplicate copies. So listen to what he said again. We were not qualified to verify whether this document is authentic, given that it is not in our possession. So, which is neither here nor there. It is subject to interpretation. He left the situation hanging. And unfortunately for them, they didn't want to ask him to say yes or no whether that document was fake. But there is nowhere in that deposition in which he said, oh, that document is fake. He didn't say that. So it all depends on the way the court will look at it. But the Supreme Court in the past, in the matter of Izunaso versus Uzodinma versus Izunaso, actually allowed a lawyer to present fresh evidence, given that he had just 3 days and to look for that evidence, and the 3 days were deemed not sufficient. But whether in this case it will allow Atiku to bring fresh evidence, only time will tell. Because for the Supreme Court to allow you to bring fresh evidence, it has to have the facts that that evidence was not originally there. You know? So can you say that the evidence was not there all along? I think that the evidence was there. It was just the timing. And in any case, you have to prove that indeed forgery has been committed. As I've said in the last few weeks, forgery can only happen when there is alteration on the original document. People compare what Ms. Elma did with this. They do not even understand the meaning of forgery. They are too lazy to even go and check the meaning of forgery. What Ms. Elma did was forgery in the real sense of the word. She gave to herself what she did not score. You cannot say the same of Tinubu, because even the school has confirmed that he graduated with honors. You need to bring the certificate, the original certificate, and bounce it against what Tinubu submitted and show that alteration took place. It is extremely difficult to prove forgery without alteration to a document. So that is what they have to bear in mind. And that is why there is a difference between Ms. Elma's matter and this. Ms. Elma scored a good grade, but awarded herself more marks because she wanted to become the highest in JAM. Tinubu already secured high honors. You have to prove that Tinubu moved herself from high honors to something greater by altering the certificate and giving himself what he did not score. So you see the difference between the Ms. Elma matter and the Tinubu matter. Many people come on social media to say a lot of things without thinking deeply. There is no correlation between Ms. Elma's matter and the president's certificate matter. On this one, no alteration is seen to have been done. Because even when Atiku asked the school to confirm the funds and all that, they confirmed that the funds were consistent with the funds of certificates issued after 1979. And where people were saying, oh, how come the name is different? When you ask for them to give you a fresh certificate, it is the current vice chancellor and others that will sign, not probably the person who is dead. My own vice chancellor at University of London is long dead. So if I ask for a new certificate today, it's not the dead man that will sign it. So asking questions about the fact that I didn't look like the old one is ridiculous. You don't expect the dead to come and sign certificates in Nigeria. Sign certificates, reissued certificate. It's not going to happen. And the school also confirmed that over time, their logo changed, their fonts have changed. So if you ask me, I know how this matter will end. Atiku didn't do due diligence at the appeal court, and that was why they lost. 13 of their witnesses were not even front-loaded. The witness statements were not front-loaded along with the written what was it called that their lawyer presented before the presidential election petitions court. 13. That was really fatal to the case, because you must present their written statement before the court. So Tinubu is parading a 42-page brief of argument, 17 lawyers, 10 of them are sons, so he's ready to argue that he won the election hands down and scored 29% in 29, and scored 25% in 29 states. He also talked about the fact that Atiku's petition was vague, imprecise, nebulous, and full of generic allegations that were not proved. he said that while Atiku claimed that he scored the highest votes in the election, he never presented an alternative result sheet showing what he scored and what the respondent scored. I said out of 27 witnesses that Atiku called, 13 did not have their witness statements front-loaded along with the petition. That is fatal to the case, as I said earlier. Uh, so Tinubu's lawyers are also amused that though Atiku has demanded that Tinubu, the president, uh, should be disqualified, Atiku also alternatively wants the court to order a rerun between him and the president. That's a man that you said was not qualified. You cited dual nationality, you cited forged papers and all that. Now you want the court to allow both of you to go for a rerun. Should a man not qualified in the first place be allowed to take part in the rerun? So it's a very interesting matter. We shall see how the courts decide this matter. Hopefully, by the 6th of December, we will have come to the end of the contest at the level of Supreme Court. Of course, Peter Obi too is still pursuing the matter, but Peter Obi all along did not declare that he won the election. All he wanted to see was for Tinubu to be disqualified. That's their strategy from the get-go. Even this matter of the CSU, the goal is to have the president disqualified because they know that they do not have enough facts to prove that they won the election.
It's on this.
It's still the disqualification gambit that they are playing. It's still the same strategy. And once you cannot get through with the matter of having the president disqualified, what is your plan B? There is no plan B at all. There is no concrete evidence placed before the court to show that they won the election.
Right, Biko.
Not at all. No concrete evidence.
That's right. Very quickly, because of our time, it is on this Peter Obi's case that I wanted to react. Peter Obi asked President Tinubu to disclose his full identity to Nigerians, while the APC said it was Peter Obi that made up the identity crisis, as Tinubu is well known by Nigerians. Whereas the Obedient have, however, started attacking their hitherto hero for asking Peter Obi to consider a career in evangelism. What do you make of these interesting twists?
Well, it's always tough for me to talk about some of my colleagues because people, whatever you say, if you criticize them, they will say you are jealous. And I have no reason to be jealous of any Nigerian journalist. No reason at all. Obi shocked people when he did that press conference, and it wasn't really making sense. A man who was in the Senate in the 90s, around 1992, was in the Senate. That's more than 30 years ago. Was in the Senate. He was governor for 8 years and became the leader of the opposition. You are saying that he should introduce himself to Nigerians. He doesn't need to introduce himself. Nigerians already know him. They know who he is. You are saying that, okay, if he changed name at some point, that he should tell us. People are free to change their names. People have changed names. I don't know what Tinubu's original name was. That is not my business. But even if he changed his name, it's not a new thing for people to change their names. What is your business asking him to tell you whether he wants to change name and the circumstances? I mean, it's absolute rubbish to go to this extent, to politicize issues. Somebody who was governor, he was governor. was one of the 1999 generation of governors. Are you saying Nigerians don't know him already? Then he also said that that Tinubu should present his university certificate. He should mention the universities that he attended. The school has already cleared him. Or is Obi too lazy to read the deposition? Maybe because the deposition is too long, he has no time to read. And then he went during the press conference. He was comparing, mentioning people that they went to university together, people like Soludo and the rest of them. Why should you put yourself and Soludo in the same sentence? Soludo graduated from UNN as the best all-round student in the year that he graduated. Can you present your own transcript? You have seen Tinubu's transcript. Obi should present his transcript. Let us have a look. Or you put yourself and Soludo in the same sentence when you cannot academically, you cannot even lace his shoes. Can't lace his boots academically. So you shouldn't be mentioning Soludo and yourself in one sentence that you went to UNN together. So it's just
Right.
attention seeking and all that.
Right.
I like what Atiku said. He said, if you want Tinubu to fail, you want Nigeria to fail. Election has gone. Let us focus on nation building. Let's focus on fixing our nation. We are in that race as a nation. All of these are distracting the president. And even the former governor of Ebonyi State said it, that Obi has become a distraction to the president. And Obi knows what he's doing. He wants to continue to be popular on social media. He wants to hold on to his base. Those young people and other people who are supporting. He knows that the moment he gives up this fight, he becomes a nobody. He returns to the default mode of a nobody politically. So he wants to continue to enjoy that limelight. So that was why he now went, after his party said they will not have anything to do with Atiku's case in court, he now went to say that he aligns with Atiku. Clearly, he didn't behave like a man with a mind of his own.
Right.
And I can tell you, even when the Supreme Court gives judgment, these people will still continue to say all kinds of things.
Right.
They will abuse the judges. They will say, once it doesn't go in their favor, they will call the judges names. They will make all of this noise for 4 years.
That's right, Bikil. Nelson Adufe says, if I were President Tinubu, I won't even answer or give attention to the rattling of Atiku and his lawyers, because I know the judiciary, that's the Supreme Court, knows what to do. Atiku is just seeking attention. Godwin Osato says, Atiku has no case. Hate and bitterness is driving Atiku and Obi supporters crazy. Atiku only succeeded in letting Nigerians know that Tinubu graduated from Chicago State University. Daniel Okukwe says, like in the case of Adeleke of Osun, where judges ruled that it was only the principal of the school that could confirm whether Adeleke attended the school or not. CSU confirmed that as its alumnus. And last but not least, Crown Fits TV says, I think it's true that if Obi and Atiku are sure that they won the election, they should have maintained their argument on who scored the highest majority of votes. And I think that's very, very key to this.
Yes.
So PK,
with alternative result sheets.
Right.
They should have come up with alternative result sheets. That, okay, in Imo, this was what I scored. This was what they took away from me. In Kano, I scored this vote. They stole this from me. But they were making generic arguments saying that they were robbed, this and that, without providing the facts. What have we turned our judges to? You have to provide the facts. That was what they didn't do. And if you do not do that, how do you show that you won the election? Where are the results?
That's right.
Where are the results? Look at in Nasarawa State, where the court, the tribunal declared the PDP candidate winner. The man brought result sheets from polling unit to polling unit. That's what they did. Polling unit to polling unit. When Oyilola was defeated by Regbesola, they brought results from polling unit to polling unit and showed where they rig the election against them. That's what you should do. You have agents. Your agents should be able to provide the actual results. If you are saying that they stole your vote, your agent, where are your results that your polling your agent presented? None. In many places, they didn't even have agents. I think Obi didn't have agents in many parts of the far north. How do you win an election? And they are in the majority. You can't win an election with Christian votes alone.
Right.
You know, you
It,
can't win an election with Christian votes
it's
alone. Not in this country.
right.
You can appeal to pastors and tell pastors, please, this religious war, this and that. It will not take you anywhere. You will still lose. The
That's right.
Christian vote is not sufficient to give you victory. Not in this country. You
That's
must
right.
have votes from across the board. That's how you can win.
That's right. Well, it's just so sad how Nigerians are allowed to be, played like a ball in the football pitch, being kicked here and there, left, right, and center. We just have to call it a
It will
wrap.
end one day, brother. It will
We
end.
hope so. Yeah, well,
Definitely will
Fibonacci
end one
is
day.
talking to me, saying that why am I not on my honeymoon, Ibrahim? Is it because of inflation? Well, my answer to that is no. Man must work. Moses Adeni says, Ibrahim,
Don't worry.
congratulations once again on your recent elevation to the position of a fully responsible
married man.
man. I wish you the best of marital life. Thank you so much. Well, I've always been very responsible, and I know BKO also confirmed
So he
that.
was not responsible before. Okay. These are people, eh? Okay.
All right,
Continue
thank
to be
you.
responsible.
Thank you very much, everyone, for your best wishes. And that's our show for today's edition of Issues with JIDE. Special thanks to you, Babajide Kolade-Otitoju, for those insightful analyses, as always. BKO.
Thank you so much. God bless you, Brian. Arigato, madam.
Thank you. And thanks to you to our audience for joining us in every edition. You can see the program again anytime by subscribing to our YouTube channel, TVC News Nigeria. Click on the subscribe button to get the latest information. You can also follow us on our social media platforms at TVC News NG and also as Ibrahim TVC News. On behalf of the rest of the team, I'm Ibrahim Shita. See you again next edition. Bye for now.